Hey, I'm Mike. Let me start off by saying that I'm a huge fan of the Ghostbusters. I've loved both the movies that came out in 1984 and 1989, and like many of you, I've noticed that the chances that this thing is gonna finally be made is increasing by the day. So if for no other reason, this will happen because we're a nostalgic bunch, right? And Hollywood has run out of original ideas, everybody knows that. And even more importantly, merchandising, toys, t-shirts, the works. But still, we wanna see our childhood heroes again. Okay, so for the latest news on what the hell, pardon the pun, because they've been in development hell for so long, is happening with Ghostbusters 3, it turns out it won't be an all-animated CGI outing like the recent Turtle movie. In fact, take note, the upcoming sequel to TMNT will be all live action with CGI turtles and effects. So this is a good move in terms of the Ghostbusters, because I only want the effects, only the effects to be CG. Not the cars, nothing else. So that slime, it better be real goo. Real disgusting goo, or I swear to God. Anyone else wondering how filmmakers could be so freaking lazy that they could bring themselves to overuse CGI? Just for your info, filmmakers, if you're watching, if I wanted to watch CGI for long stretches at a time, I'll just play a video game. Also, did anyone else notice that quite often in the new Wolverine movie, Logan's claws were completely CGI'd? I'm not talking about when they come out of his hand. That's okay. But when he's just standing there, plastic would have looked more metallic than that crap. Okay, moving on. This isn't meant to be a rant. You've heard a lot of those. So yeah, the entire original cast of Ghostbusters is going to be involved. Dan Aykroyd, well duh, he's the guy who's crazy about bringing the series back. Harold Ramis, who is awesome and a great director. Ernie Hudson, who was totally fucked over in the screen time and advertising for the original Ghostbusters. I mean, come on, rarely is he mentioned as one of the original 4 Ghostbusters. And Bill Murray, he's coming back, and he refused to do another film until recently. And what's really sweet and makes me appreciate him as an actor and as a human being alone is that he said he'd only be on board if Ernie Hudson got equal screen time. See, isn't that just awesome? Also, Sigourney Weaver will be involved, so that's pretty cool. There is no positive info on Rick Moranis or Annie Potts right now, and both I'd love to see again. So in terms of the new movie, what goodies has Dan Aykroyd just promised? Well, he said in a very recent interview, I think from like 2 days ago, there'll be a whole new generation that has to be trained and a leader that you'll all love when you meet her. There'll be lots of cadets, boys and girls, who'll be learning how to use the neuron splitter and the interplanet interceptor. New tools to enable them to slip from dimension to dimension. Okay, I'm sorry, but that just sounded terrible in every sense of the word. This shouldn't be some sort of police academy knockoff with gadgets from Star Trek. Come on, an interplanet interceptor, a neuron splitter. Okay, the dimension to dimension thing, yeah, that could work. That's alright, I guess. I think. Alright, so what is wrong with following the lead of Ghostbusters 2? It was a solid movie. That movie was made 5 years after the original, and the story advanced 5 years. And we still got the same characters without any younger additions. The characters had moved on in age, and it was wicked to see them take the proton packs out of storage. I know most people say Ghostbusters 2 wasn't as good as the original. Of course, it'll never be as good as the original, but I still thought it was a solid movie, full of laughs, well done. That's all I could say about that. So let's do it again. If the movie is finally made, and I'm talking about Ghostbusters 3, if it's finally made in 2011, then start the new movie with the title screen that says 22 years later. This will work because there is no way they can make me believe that they've been fighting ghosts all this time, ever since the second movie. And like the rest of us, time should have moved on, then, they'd go do other things, and then a crisis should come up, something that tests them more than anything in Ghostbusters, at least Ghostbusters 2. Maybe Ghostbusters 1, that's not fair, but Ghostbusters 2, it should be more of a trial for them. And they should again dust off the proton packs, and them alone should tackle the ghosts. Maybe Oscar, Dr. Venkman's son, could join them, kind of how like Rick Moranis joined them. He wasn't really part of the team, he kind of thinks he's part of the team. You could do that for comic relief. And yeah, I know it sounds like the same thing over and over again, but look, I don't think the series needs teenagers running around. It certainly doesn't need Ben Stiller or Eliza Dushku. The Ghostbusters are made to look even more old by having a supermodel running around with the cadets. And yes, Dan Aykroyd mentioned he wants her on board. So just give us the 4 original guys, have fun with the age factor, much like Indiana Jones did. But add a solid plot, obviously, and keep it simple. We don't need more people. We need the right people. Okay, so thanks for listening, and feel free to post your comments. I'm very interested, and I'm sure everyone else is, to hear what you got to say about this, the making of Ghostbusters 3, if it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, what's going to change. Maybe a year from now, it'll be like, oh, we're thinking it's CGI again. We don't know. Okay, take care.